r/Askreddit by Reddit and chill. Rich people of Reddit that were poor before. How did money solve your problems and what new problems have appeared? Went through a childhood in the foster system and fell through the cracks. Ended up homeless a few times. Anyways, I am not a 1%er, but I do make more than 80% of Americans, yearly salary wise. Money relieved me of stress. When I go shopping, I don't check my bank account before I make a purchase. I have insurance, so I am not afraid to go to the dentist or doctor. Going out with friends is fun because I know I won't be financially struggling from a night out. It ultimately brought me a level of stability I never was used to, and I am incredibly grateful. My new problems I wouldn't call problems. Home maintenance, car upkeep, bills, etc. I am grateful those are my main worries these days. It's really crazy how people are so grateful for money when you know what it's like to really not have any. Money allows me to not worry. It doesn't make me happy, but it frees up my mind to be happy. Because I don't have to spend time worrying about how I'm going to pay the next bill. Lifestyle creep is a very real thing. If you're looking for a problem, we've gotten used to this level of money. So if it were to go away, it would be a pretty big problem pretty quickly. Our bills have risen along with our income. In the German language there is a saying that goes, Geld macht nicht glücklich, aber es beruhigt ungemein. It translates to, money doesn't make you happy, but it calms you down immensely. It seems to be really true. I can now buy good gifts for my friends' family. Downside, now I can't get them shitty gifts. If I ever run into money, I'm not telling anyone. Not rich currently, but due to my work skills I have been both flush with cash and scraping by. This position changes every so often. When I had excess ducat level of money, my immediate needs were taken care of so I could focus on other things, take on new projects. People don't realize that when you don't have to worry about food for the next month, basic household bills for the next month, fuel for the car, you are so free to spend your energy on other projects and learn new things. For me, the issue is that having that much disposable income is the temptation to spend it. Lifestyle creep and keeping up with the Jones will destroy people if the cash flow ever gets interrupted. Without that cash flow you can't afford your mortgage or your new car. I avoided it. Luckily, many others have not. I bought a small house and a nice 15-year-old truck when I had the money, and then I stopped. I put my money in the bank, invested it. My monthly stay alive cost is under 1k. When the good times end, I still keep the lights on working a low-paying job. I get you. There was a time in my life where no matter how much money I would have, I would still spend all of it. Some months I would have 500, 1000 more than the other months and still manage to spend all of it. I'm glad I realized that what I was doing was complete and utter stupidity and that it shouldn't be that way. When I was poor, no money, but free time. Now, money, no free time. It's really not fair. Maybe when I retire I can finally catch up on my gaming backlog. I'll be the old guy in the assisted living facility playing RDR2 instead of hoping my grandkids call. Fawning service industry people. Wait staff. Hotel. Retail store people. It's embarrassing sometimes because I don't know how to react. I have a sister who is middle class and 3 kids. I'm relied on to provide certain expensive things for the kids. Once in a while is fine. It's fun. But because I have no kids, she thinks there should be a constant stream of fun activities and gifts coming from me, because what else are you spending your money on? So, you're saying this is a real case of your sister having 3 kids and no money while you have no kids and 3 money? Edit. Thank you, kind strangers. Grew of middle class. Until 12 years old. Then mom had a stroke and parents lost family business and was essentially piss poor broke. I think parents sheltered my brothers and I from it a lot. Always had something to eat but always moving around different homes. Christmas presents consisted of socks, underwear and candy bars. It sucked during high school. I was jealous. Went to college. Got a job. And so did my brothers. My brothers started doing well and started supporting our parents. I ended up going to med school, getting through residency, Still paying off massive loans, but now in a place where I don't have to worry about my car breaking down. I can go to Whole Foods. I can buy friends and family dinner without thinking about it. I can pay for my parents' dental work without thinking too much about it. I can invest in stocks. Invest in a good home. Maintain the home and my cars, and even make money on my house by investing correctly. The biggest difference is that now I can make financial decisions that on their own make money for me. With real estate and with investing. And the ratio of this easy capital gains money only gets better every year. When you are poor you own nothing and the only way of making money is to work, but if your paycheck can't support your lifestyle it is very difficult to break cycle. Paycheck can't support lifestyle. Then it is difficult to break cycle, duly noted. Need to remember that and think about it whenever I want to buy something. I can afford the good toilet paper now. The only problem is, I'm still not rich enough to have someone wipe for me. I just bought a bidet thingy on Amazon for like $30. And I think it's the next best option. Just saying. My biggest difference is now that I can wait till something is in sale and cheap. Instead of need to replace it when it broke. It allows me to get better quality for the same amount of money. For example, laundry machine is minus 50% during sales. So I can buy the quality of a $1,000 sign instead of a low end of the market for $500. I'm slightly confused. Do you buy a new washing machine before your older one is broken? Or when the older one breaks? You can afford a laundromat until there is a sale? We weren't really that poor, but we lost a good part of our income, and the biggest problem is I can't spend money without stressing about how many hours I will have to work to pay it off. I so feel you. That's a really shitty feeling. Not rich by 1% standards. Never been poor. I always had a support system. Even if I had no money myself. That being said, the number one thing I noticed is holidays aren't as stressful. Because money isn't an issue. Shopping for presents is relatively easy. Because I'm limited by creativity. Not weighing how ashamed am I going to be to give this crappy gift to someone versus how much do I want to eat this week. The main problems come from being in that place where enough is never enough. As long as I watch my spending, I can mostly buy the occasional thing I want. But I don't have enough that I can buy whatever. It's also a dilemma when it comes to helping out my friends. I don't have enough that I can afford to solve, or really significantly impact, my friends' financial problems. While at the same time I want to be generous, helpful when I can. On the gripping hand, it becomes easy to be taken for granted, or even worse, taken advantage of. Springing for the occasional meal can easily become being expected to pay for restaurants that are more expensive than I want to be going to in the first place. You want to nip that shit in the bud real quick. But I have a lot of friends who are literally looking through couch cushions for gas money. At the same time, if I gave them gas money all the time, I wouldn't be able to pay my own bills. So it sucks to sit there and have to figure out when I can actually help versus when I'm lighting myself on fire to keep someone else warm. This is me to a T without the having money growing up part. Slowly creeping up on 6 figures, and it's not nearly as much money as everybody thinks after taxes. I spend about $400 a check on other people and helping people out. But at least I'm in a position to be able to do it. Spot on the statement that if you're generous enough you all of a sudden won't be able to afford your bills aspect of it. Went from extremely lower middle class, where I didn't carry insurance because I couldn't afford it, and could never pay all my bill in any given month, to 1%er. The biggest difference is bar none the loss of that fear and shame. My wife is an incredibly empathetic, sympathetic person, but she came from money and doesn't understand the feeling, the stress, shame, and sleeplessness that comes from not having money just can't be explained unless you've lived them. Not having that feeling. Just knowing I can buy what I want, within reason. Don't confuse the 1% with the 0.01%, is one of the greatest changes in my life. Having come from almost nothing to where I'm at now, there are no problems. The problems I face now are totally first world problems. Because money. How did you get to where you are now? Kinda the opposite here. Was fairly wealthy, living in a large single family home. Now living in a 250 SQFT trailer. The biggest thing is probably not having the time to be able to enjoy ourselves. Working 7 days a week just to make ends meet isn't fun. Before, we could go anywhere on a whim and not have to worry about missing out on the money. One thing I can say for sure though is I will never take normal things for granted ever again. How I miss having a dishwasher and a clothes washer and counter space. I miss having an oven big enough for a tray of cookies. I miss having more than one bathroom in the house. If I were to ever have these things again, I'd never ever look at them how I did before. I'd be eternally more grateful than I ever had been. I'm sorry that happened, Nagetika. It is hard to overstate the joy of having a reliable car. With gas. With insurance. That I just take to a guy if something needs to be fixed. It isn't brand new or fancy. It's just a car I can trust. It is heaven. New problem. My nieces and nephews hit me up for money whenever they have some sort of travel event they found that they want to go on. Sometimes the answer is no, and that often causes hard feelings. About to drop $3,000 on a transmission rebuild for a car I've had for a year because I can't afford to make monthly payments for a newer one. I can't even imagine trusting a car. The biggest thing is solved is that you no longer have to worry about things. $2,000 car repair? No big deal. Put it on your credit card to save 2% with cash back and the bill is auto paid in full on the due date anyways. Your life is much less stressful when these things randomly pop up. And you don't have to worry about where you'll get the money to cover them. The problem I've been thinking about lately is why I want to keep increasing my salary. I'm on the fence about getting an MBA so that I can move into a senior level management position. At CTO SEA. It's not like I need more money. We already live on less than 30% of my salary, so why do I need to earn 800k? 1M or even like a 20M salary? It seems so wasteful. I like my $250k house just fine. I like my current vehicle and motorcycle. What else do I possibly need? But yet I feel like everyone around me is like, why? So yeah, I'd say that. I feel like I'm supposed to want to move into those positions. And when I ask people why I should want to move into that position, the answer is always because you'll earn way more money. And it's like, I earn $180 $230k a year right now. And we live on less than $70k a year. So why in the world would I need even more? I could retire on my current path at 43 years of age with over $4 million. Why do I need more money than that? Well, you've got a paid house and make twice your spend. Why do more? Sock it away for retirement and vacations. Senior management is a lot of stress and you're in a good place. I'm not rich, but I went from making restaurant wages to having a salaried job with the state with benefits. Last night I was at Target buying towels and was getting my usual $10 towels. I was putting them in the basket when I stopped and realized I didn't have to get those anymore. Walked another aisle over and got much nicer towels because I could afford it. You don't have to be rich to enjoy some better things when you were dirt poor for nearly a decade. As far as downsides, I'm still not rich, so I can't splurge that often on other things. I swear. Good quality towels are the shit. You think towels are just towels, but damn. I am not super rich, but definitely doing okay. And really there aren't downsides. Maybe a bit of guilt that I have some extended family members who are always living paycheck to paycheck. But they are just bad with money and would spend it like NBA players if I helped them IMHO. They all smoke like chimneys and drink like fish. The ones that have a bit more in their paychecks have big truck subs. etc. I do contribute to college funds for their kids. Sometimes I feel a bit out of touch. I had an AC unit blow 2 years ago. It was a few grand. I had a friend over and just mentioned it. And she was like, oh man, that must have been a big setback, and I just kind of shrugged it off. Not really. I knew it was struggling for a good year and a half. I was happy to get as much time out of it as I did, and the newer one was much quieter. I immediately regretted saying that as she looked at me like I was crazy. We lived way below our means for many years. We had a smallish condo that worked well enough for us. But we finally found our forever home this fall, which is much larger and nicer, and kind of shocked some people. We didn't tell people what we paid, but still kind of outed ourselves a bit. So we will see how that changes people's perceptions. It's a much bigger nut to take on. We will be okay, but things could get stressful if I lose my job or befall some other catastrophic thing in the next 6 months to a year. Can't say I'm rich, but for my age, 22, I'm wealthy. I always had to think a lot before buying anything. Having money makes it much easier. I don't have to say no to my friends when they invite me for something because I don't have the money. Always so embarrassing. Still, I'm always afraid I'll lose it again and I end up being poor again. It's a constant anxiety. IDK if it's just me. But wealthy denotes a lot more zeros to me than rich. A doctor is rich, the queen is wealthy. Ducking like and subscribe.